some guy walked up to me and thinks I touched his girlfriend, and I didn't do anything to his girlfriend. She was standing right next to me. And then he got my face and like he pointed his finger at me saying, I'll beat your ass if you touch my girlfriend again. And I'm thinking like, dude.
I feel like this interview is going to be heavily edited.
This is Jiu Jitsu Robot, episode 10, with special guest, Nick Cooley.
Hey, Nick, what's up, Brojinho?
Hey, Joseph.
Sounds like you're having a good day over there.
I definitely am.
Okay, good.
Oh, shoot. Yes, it is.
So, Nick, are you you're in a position that you can chit chat with us for a while?
I sure am.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a few more questions that are kind of in the same vein as the first part of the episode, but
Sure.
we're gonna ramp it up a little bit. So, who specifically in the Gracie family, who have you trained with?
Gracie family. I did the Hickson seminar back in 2019, and then I did a Half Gracie seminar in 2021.
Okay, so
And I've also met the son of Orion Gracie.
Hedon, Henner?
Not their younger brother, Halleck,
Oh, Halleck, yeah.
at Carlos Diaz's gym. He had a seminar there back in, I believe it was 2022, early 2022. I went to a seminar there, and I got a lot of good information from him.
Was Halleck wearing the triangle at that point?
I think he was wearing a regular gi. I'm not really sure. I mean, if you go to my picture, you could probably see it. But we were standing right there in front of his grandfather's picture.
You should send
Roger
that
that,
over
son.
to me so we can add it on the podcast.
Yes. And another thing that I was going to bring up here is that that match that you had with Luke Griffin. Is Luke Griffin?
Correct.
So
That
we're
is
gonna
Luke
add,
Griffin, one of Donaher's students,
That's right.
rising phenom.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Let's add a picture from that right here, just to show people what a gigantic person that Luke is compared to Nick. And Nick,
Right.
you rolled, right? I mean, it looked like to start that he wanted to kind of to give you a easy time, and then
Right.
it was a little more challenging, of course. And
Right.
although it was a fairly short match, it still is pretty dang incredible that a guy that big with great jiu-jitsu,
Right.
you know, took some time to break through the defenses. So, and for the record, I asked you the other day if everything that we had said basically was correct, if you agreed or not with everything from that first podcast. And you said the only thing you didn't agree with is that you don't have a match this month. Is that right? Or coming up?
Correct. Yes, I wasn't able to get it going for next month.
Yeah. So not bad.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What's going on here?
I have to grab something to eat real quick. I'm sorry, guys. That is one thing I gotta do.
You buzzing.
But
You
Hold on a second,
sorry,
guys. Let me put my order in.
I gotta get something to eat.
It's
Man's
okay.
gotta eat. And
Yeah,
it's got to eat.
it's okay. What about some recollections, Nick, from experiences that you've had with Roger and I on the mat? Any recollections?
I do. I remember us just going over, going over basic situation stuff. Basic, if you get into this predicament with somebody, just going over all those type techniques.
Would you say that that's in line with the other folks that you've trained with, or um,
I
or
mean,
what would you say?
I think most of the stuff that we trained together was more for self-defense type situations. Like if you were to get an altercation on the street, you know how to protect yourself. In other places, they're based around more of the sport type jujitsu, where fancy guards, stuff like that. You got to get your points and all that type stuff. And which I get both. I get how both works. I mean, both are great to train, but you definitely want to be on the safe
Yeah.
side of.
And what, in your opinion, Nick, what is the difference? What is the difference between sport and street when it comes to jiu-jitsu?
I believe that it's better to have the self-defense on the streets because you never know when you're going to get into an altercation. In the gym, when you're training sport, you know what you're preparing for. You're rolling with another student, so you're going based off of the energy that they're presenting to you.
Right. So your opponent is the main thing that changes, right? The context of the attacks.
Right.
How about
Because if you're dealing with somebody on the street, they're you don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know if they have a weapon or not. You never know. It could be any kind of predicament.
absolutely. So let's get into the situation that happened at Buffalo Wild Wings. What do you remember about that?
I remember that a guy probably had way too much alcohol. Or wait, no, I'm thinking of another story. I got another story after that. The situation with the guy at Buffalo Wild Wings. Um, I don't think he showed. I don't think he showed me any respect when I asked him politely to give him my key card because he just took my kindness for weakness, and I think that's what it was all about. It's just for a place where he can stay while he tried to get on his feet, and then afterwards he was done after the whole thing. So
And is
I
your
think that's
recollection? I'm sorry to cut you off, Nick. Is your recollection that it got in basically became a confrontation?
I got a few more things with that. My recollection of it, I mean, I can remember it very well. Like I remember the day that I let him into my house and then tried to go help him find a job for him. And then after that, he started seeing some girl, and then after that, he's like, "Well, I'm done
Done with.
with done staying here at Nick's. I got me a girlfriend. Why do I need to stay here anymore and help?"
So he basically got done with you, and at that point didn't care about respect anymore.
Right.
And do you feel like when you, I mean, I'm gonna say confronted when you asked him for the key card, that
hmm
that he wanted to give you trouble?
I just felt it right away. I just felt like nothing's good is gonna come from this. So I was like, well, what was the point of asking him if that was gonna happen.
Right. What do you think?
I just want to know how come I was sitting at the second table. Like I'm only friends with Nick,
That's
but I'm sitting
that
I'm
that's
sitting with
that's
Nick's friends over at table 2.
that's what I wanted to know is why they had you do that. I don't know why that Buffalo Wild Wings had that happen.
I'm just
They're
I'm just
they're
kidding
kind of
around.
they're kind of
I knew those guys a little bit because you'd always hang out
mhm,
with them, and they would always come to the Buffalo Wild Wings with us. But I had previously trained
right.
with what was his name again? I forget his name.
Oh, you're talking about that guy that went with us to Alejandro's place in South Lake.
Yeah, the Gracie Baja.
That guy was Eric.
You know, he invited me to the wedding.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go. Not after he's like, I'm gonna stab Nick.
You know, us three. I just wanted to say, us three have the ability to be completely transparent. And I was just gonna say, Nick, you son of a gun, what the heck are you? Are you eating? Are you?
He's
It
at the
sounds like you're
grocery
back at the
store.
circus.
He's at the
You're back.
grocery
You're
store.
back at the circus.
Do what?
You're back at the circus again, buddy.
I
He's
know.
like,
I'm grabbing some.
he's
I'm grabbing some
he's
food.
completely aloof.
Taking this back, please.
Holy moly, Roger, is this?
I'm my bad, guys. I just had to grab something to eat
Dude,
before
I
they
love it.
close.
I love this podcast. This is my favorite podcast because I know it's so much fun.
What? Because I'm one of a kind.
You
What
are,
can I
man.
say?
You are.
I'm not average. I'm not an average guy.
You're a man, a busy man on the go.
And
And it's time. I know it's aggravating, and I know it's out of the time, but you gotta give me some food. It was either that or I drove to a place to go get food, and I decided to walk.
Which
Get some
probably took
exercise.
with your little legs, that probably took you about 45 minutes if you were walking, the mailbox and back.
True.
So, but anyway,
I mean, I do have midget legs. Oh, can I say that on the podcast?
well, it's accurate. We can show his little legs and flippers, and I mean,
I forgot that people get offended by saying midget.
God,
Uh,
Political culture.
oh my gosh, Nick,
For correction, people, I am not PC.
you
oh, stop it, Nick. You're going to give me a heart attack, man.
no kidding.
Well, people on the internet should know I'm not PC. Too, I speak whatever comes to mind. I don't care what it is.
That is true. I've known you for a while, and that is true.
And you know what?
Sure,
I was gonna say,
sure. I get into some rowdiness, into some trouble, but it's all how you handle it. Like me, I can handle it fine. Adversity, I handle it.
now hang on a second now. Two things. One, yes, you do. Two, Roger and I have did our best to help in those scenarios that do get out of hand. So we're not going to get into that. Three,
That is.
dang, what was the third one? Oh, I was just going to say, I also stayed at the Buzzard's house. I was staying at the Buzzard's house on his couch, attacked by critters of some kind, but the Buzzard was really the reason that I was able to continue to train at such a intensity and made it from point A to point B. So I did not do the same thing as the disrespectful guy because I knew better first, and second, because the Buzzard is a very genuinely helpful person and an incredibly aggravating person, and the same on the mat. That's the Jiu Jitsu as well. So that's my perspective. Would you agree with that, Nick?
I do agree with that. I can be aggravating. I can be at times.
Yeah.
We are like that.
Yeah, especially when someone's trying to submit you, it's very aggravating.
I know. I know. They just want to go straight for the kill, and I'm just like, no, it's not gonna work. Sorry.
So Roger, if you would, a few questions.
Oh yeah, I just going back to that incident. The the gentleman basically had your key card, and he just decided he didn't
Mhm.
want to give it to you. And after,
Yeah, he threw it out the window.
yeah, he said told to me that he threw it out the window, or did he say that to you? I forget, but apparently he threw it out the
Yeah, he
window.
threw it out the window. Yeah, he threw it out the window.
But he didn't want to fight you, or at least not. He was worried to fight you
Yeah.
because he
What can
basically
I say?
basically saw what happens at the gym. Like, he's seen you rolling. Um, did you roll with him?
I think we kind of started to roll, but we didn't. We didn't get to roll fully because we had to line up
Uh,
at the time. So it was like, well, okay, I have to roll next time. And that's when he rolled with that I believe it was Ashley, the girl Ashley, the purple belt. I believe he started rolling with her afterwards, and then he got the floor mop with him.
yeah, he did. I saw it, man. It was bad.
You know,
It's all like,
I
it's
have
all
one
like, how can this happen to me?
Well, that's the very common question. Uh, I don't know how to even answer that. Is Jiu Jitsu? That's the answer. But I have a question for you, Nick. Holy moly! Roger, take back over. This little buzzard is just aggravating me.
Yeah, no. So you mentioned another incident at Buffalo Wild Wings. What happened with that one? What happened with the drunk guy?
Oh, this happened just recently. Some guy walked up to me and thinks I touched his girlfriend, and I didn't do anything to his girlfriend. She was standing right next to me, and then he got in my face and like he pointed his finger at me, saying I'll beat your ass if you touch my girlfriend again. And I'm thinking like, dude, one, get your finger away from me. Two, this is not going to go well for you. Number three, your breath stinks.
And
And that's all
four,
I got.
you're hungry. You're gonna bite his finger if he keeps it there, right?
I wasn't going to chew on his finger.
You know what? I was going to ask one thing earlier that I thought about. Nick, the first time that I ever came to that, well, I mean, we've already said it many times on here, that the Wolfpack location that you and I trained at, you
Mhm.
came up to me on the mat. Do you remember that?
I do.
What do you remember about that?
I remember introducing myself when we started talking about the Gracie philosophy and all that, and how to accumulate everything, and talking about the setups and the differences in the sport wise and the Gracie system between the two. And then you were showing me like all the punch block series and all that kind of stuff.
Had you seen that
Not,
before at that time?
not really, no. I never really understood the Gracie system. I mean, I was always sorry. I was always fascinated by it when I was a kid and my dad had like the Gracie tapes and stuff. So I was always fascinated by that.
But it was kind of esoteric, hidden. Even I got into jiu-jitsu in 2000, in the year 2000, and basically for
Mhm.
for the first 5 years or so, I was under the impression that I was training in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I was 100% sure I was doing the same thing, so I had no idea either. Um,
Right.
Roger, should we pause with Nick and do a part 3, or just continue?
Man, I'm having a great time. I kind of vote continue. Maybe
I
Nick
like
can stop shuffling his groceries though.
Hey,
You monster.
We
I
Um,
it's
know
gonna be hard to
I
hear
am.
over the grocery sound or the crinklinger. I don't know what it is, man.
Mhm.
um, yeah. The only reason that I say that is I'm trying to think of questions that I thought of all day really. But man, I can't. The only thing that I can think of is the big things that stand out. Nick walking, strutting around um, that academy butt ass naked, and then hearing about it later. That's like the main
Yeah,
thing.
I know people are gonna laugh about that, but I'm just like, well, you know, I'm
Well, they also
cool.
didn't. They weren't there. There's some particulars about this that stand out that I'm definitely not going to get into it this time. But there's probably a reason, I would say, that people are willing to walk around naked around other dudes. Uh,
Because
but
it's a power
anyway,
play.
yeah. So how
I was
about
like, I was gonna say, I just got that porn star strut.
well, that's true. I saw it, and that's where the buzzard nickname started. But ah, man, good grief! Now I'm thinking about that and just
Haha.
holy
Hey,
moly!
my family told me I should have been one. That
Did they
if
told you that? Who told you
would have
that?
been the best line of work, but I ain't pretty, so
You're
that's
not
why I'm
pretty.
doing jujitsu.
Well, that's the best. That's the best thing for you, buddy. But
I feel like this interview is going to be heavily edited.
I think so.
Dang,
We're
I
back.
like the un I
I'm
like
kind
the unedited version better.
Well, we got to be able to hear the questions and try not to. It's kind of hard on the call because we're kind of
yeah.
talking over each other.
And it's kind of funny how I am. I know.
Oh, dude, it's
Um,
hilarious.
Well,
although I still listen. Hang on. I got the conch. So yeah.
alrighty.
But I was just gonna say, although Roger, I agree that yeah, this is in total. Uh, what is the word? Consistency again with the previous episode. It's pretty difficult to be able to hear with the weird ass noises that are going on in the background. So
Yeah.
perhaps we should roll over into a part 3 on a weekend, or when we can schedule you to be alone.
Me alone.
I'm just
Are you alone right
curious.
now?
Yeah, where are you right now?
I'm actually at the gym alone.
They trusted you up there by yourself?
Of course they did.
He's very
Do you have
trustworthy.
keys? Do you have the keys, Nick?
I do.
So listen, I was gonna. So there is a thing in our lineage about the person that has the keys whoever has the keys to the building is supposedly the person that is most ready or willing to fight if somebody shows up that wants to fight. So that's an interesting situation that you have the keys. But
That is true.
Anyway, what do you think, Roger? Part 3?
Yeah, we can do part 3.
Let's do that. And Nick,
Wait, we want to do a part 3 day.
yeah, let's do that so that we can get complete you eating, finish your food, and then we can just spend 45 minutes or whatever in total silence.
I was gonna say if we just thinking about 2 minutes.
Hey, what?
I'll be done.
Yeah, what? Yeah, what if we give Nick a couple minutes to finish his food and then we call him back?
Yeah, let's do that. Ay.
Yeah, we'll get him on. We'll get him on here and finish that segment. But yeah, he's just Nick is just kind of like, hey, I just got done training. I'm hungry. I got this podcast. I'm just gonna go get something to eat. And
He's a wild horse. He's just a completely roaming, like wild ass animal that's just roaming the country.
no,
But,
that is true. That is true.
Am I quiet here? Can you hear anything in my background?
Completely silent.
Okay, good. So maybe we can think of I don't know, maybe we can just go in a completely different direction for now. But yeah, we have kind of slightly different perspectives, but coming from the same place of care and respect. But maybe maybe we don't. Maybe we have exactly the same. But oh man, I don't even know what to say.
Well, last time he was here training, like we were doing the punch block series, and he was doing it. He was doing it with a broken hand. We didn't know it at the time. It just his wrist kept on hurting him. Like he had it. He had to go back to the doctor, and apparently, like we're doing. I would say pretty like fast paced. There was definitely like some. It was training, so it wasn't like we were like hitting each other or anything like that. But he was definitely. We're definitely doing the whole fake haymakers, and they're making contact with his broken hand, and he's still training hard.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
And we were at 10th Planet as well. We were doing leg locks, and then we were training in the garage at my old townhouse. With the mats in there.
He at least is always ready to train, and that is something that we did. I'm sure that I've said before at pretty much all hours whenever I was there with him, that we would just push the did you ever go over to his house?
Several times.
So he had some kind of coffee table or something. We would just push out of the way and roll and do all kind of weird crap. But this is normal for dudes like us, I guess.
Oh, that's Nick calling.
All right, let's do it. And if anybody's listening in as aggravated as me, then you should subscribe to our channel and like the video and leave a comment that says, "You buzzard, you freaking aggravating little buzzard," something like that.
Perfect. All right, let me get him in.
Let's do it.
All right, I got you back on. So we're gonna finish the interview. We got a few more questions. So we were talking about the guy who got in your face. He put his finger in your face at Buffalo Wild Wings. So what happened then? Did you guys fight, or did he back off?
Yeah, he left.
So that was
No, he
it.
just left.
That was it after that.
Yep, yep, he left. I just started laughing at him.
He probably was like surprised about you, the way you carried yourself. You're like, hey, was he bigger? You know,
No, he was just a little bit taller than me,
but
and
he's
he was just skinny,
a
a
skinny guy.
skinny guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I kept thinking like I could blast a double leg on this guy, and then mount him, and then do some destructive things. But then again, why should I get in trouble for him being an idiot?
That's true. It'd be one thing if he like hit you and you had to defend yourself. It'd be another thing if you just like shot in for a takedown while he's really just mouthing off.
Yeah.
Even though like I've been there. I was just talking to Joey last podcast about
Hmm.
basically people you know disrespecting
Our
me in different times, and I've been wanting I I guess I'll just think. I think we all like think those thoughts, but we just don't act on them, right?
I mean, I was in a public place, so I was just trying to conduct myself as a better person than this guy,
As one
because
should.
this guy's making a total ass of himself. Like, why should I get up and try to make an ass out of myself? Like,
Yeah.
like, buddy, I got stuff going on in my life that just because you're getting intoxicated and you think this actually happened when it didn't, and I even have witnesses there that know what happened, but uh, I always find myself in these times where I think I don't go looking for trouble, but trouble finds myself sometimes.
Well,
Seems that way.
definitely at a Buffalo Wild Wings, you'll find some trouble for sure.
Yeah.
So you
And
mentioned
no
a
matter what,
match. You mentioned a match like that was supposed to come up. Did it get canceled, or just what happened with that match?
no, I didn't have the funding in time and everything. And that time I took off for California, I was just having fun and wasn't really competitive, serious about it. Like, I wanted to, but I just don't think my heart was in it. It wasn't ready yet.
So you're back
I think
in Florida.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just back training right now. If anything comes up, great. There's actually a couple tournaments I want to do next year that I'd like to prepare for. It's the PBJJF, the Professional Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Federation.
Oh, I haven't heard of
So,
that one.
but it
Yeah,
sounds.
they're basically copying the IBJJF. I guess if you want to call it that. I mean, hell, a lot of people think they're copying the IBJJF. I mean, I could care less of what the name is. I mean, as long as if they're a great tournament and they do great things, that's all that matters to me. I mean, I'm not all about, okay, this tournament, that. I'm just wondering if they got a good great representation about themselves. That's what I matter about, is if they represent themselves really greatly. Like, I know I've been competing for ADCC the last couple times, and that's been great. And hell, let's go out and do it again in Vegas.
I'm
On
down.
the platform we're at T-Mobile Arena where Gordon competes.
Yeah, there's something special about competing on the same mats as all the pros.
Especially now that it's going to be at T-Mobile Arena. Like, I definitely can get ready for that. And that to me would be more than anything. So I got like 3 tournament layouts for that. It's basically like um, the 2 PBJJF tournaments, and then after that, ADCC.
Now, I remember
Yeah.
last time. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joey.
No, I was just gonna say I have a question that this is possibly off topic, but maybe not. Maybe it's right. Nick, what would you say as far as the way Roger and I roll? The differences, of course we're big. He's a big, tall, bigger guy, and I'm a
Right.
smaller guy. But how would you say that the differences in the way that we roll? What are those differences? And comparable to the amazing jiu-jitsu people that you've rolled with in tournaments. How do you see that Roger and I's game, sport-wise?
I believe y'all can keep up with these guys. The only reason why these guys are fast is because they put everything together so quickly. Like they're just trying to win this tournament, and I can understand that. Like me, I'm doing it because I love to do it and it's fun. And then when I roll with y'all got a sense of pretty much everything. You're well alert on everything and you capitalize it, and you're also on the good self defense side as well.
And as far as our the differences in the way that we roll, do you think that there are differences, or are we pretty similar?
I think y'all bring a little bit different to each other. Like you're more planned, and Rogers' game is more like getting getting to a good solid base.
What do you think about that, Roger? What questions are you thinking about as far as that goes?
Of course, we're gonna have like similar styles, right? Um, just having trained with you and got instruction from you on Gracie Jiu Jitsu. But we have different body types, so there's gonna be we're gonna have like some different strategies because of our physical attributes.
I I agree with that, and I guess Nick and I have fairly similar perspectives that as
Yeah.
in both been the smaller guy getting the crap smashed out of us by you. But
But what I was really surprised is how Rogers' leg entanglements were. Like when he started training on those, like those really got really good.
definitely,
And then you starting to see like, and now basically like every place trains that. Like that's what I've been training the last couple of sessions is leg entanglements and clover leaves and setups and stuff. And a lot of high level guys are going for this stuff because it's broadened the whole game. And I remember when I was in California, I was trying to learn the buggy choke. Like I saw that choke and I thought this is the coolest move I've seen in a while. And I said I got to go learn it. And I spent an entire month in California just trying to learn it and the concepts of it and how I found out about it. And I did my research, and
uh,
there's a whole lot to it.
yeah, I remember you talking about that in detail, and you loved that whole system. And one thing that I noticed in that match with Luke is that at the beginning there, it it looked like you were thinking about some kind of leg entanglement, um,
That's yeah.
and you ended up doing that backbone rotation, like spin, uh,
Hmm.
defensive spin, like probably 5 times. What
Right.
was what were you what was going on there?
Well, I was trying to land, try to get a solid, either a solid guard or, I even tried to shoot for the buggy, but I know that he had a broad shoulders, so I knew that if I couldn't get that, then might as well try to land at guard and try to work something from there. that was my whole plan. And then when he took my back, I was just thinking like, wow, how can I get out of this?
He also triangled his legs, which of course made it
I
more
did.
difficult, right?
Hmm.
So, and I was I agree. I agree 100% that when Roger started training those leg locks, that the leg locks came from everywhere at all times, and of course that makes it more. Well, you got to be more aware because you, in a split second, you all of a sudden your leg is effed up. Um,
Right.
but man, it's more difficult to get you in foot locks because your feet are like rubber.
Yeah, and I'm moving, and I try to move at a fast pace. Like I try to move like very quickly. And if I'm caught in a leg entanglement, I'll tap right then and there. Like I'm not gonna go, for it because it's a dangerous move, and people need to walk.
Yeah,
You know, I don't see the point of taking some guys mat time away just for a little heel hook or knee bar just because you got it. Like if it's set there, I'll tap and go on if they caught me right there. I'm not gonna let them crank on it. It just makes things worse.
yeah.
And it's
And I'm not sure, Nick, if you've ever gotten really messed up in a submission, but
mhm.
were you training with us at the time when I had Roger to squeeze that dang wrist lock so hard that I was in that wrist thing for like a month, 2 months, whatever it was?
uh actually I don't remember that.
I think he was
Uh
at Chabaros.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
Hard.
probably there, yeah. But I think you mentioned it to me like we talked about it, and you said you had to take time away.
Well, I mean,
You
he
know
was
what?
there. You were
Yeah,
there every day suffering.
I, I continued. Yeah, I taught classes and kept
Yeah.
kept rolling the whole time. But
Hmm.
I don't recommend that to anybody that's listening. That from the word go, that whole thing was a bad idea. So I should have took time away. But anyway,
Yeah, I think honestly, like people need to heal. Like if you're injured and hurt, take time away from the gym because it's not worth getting hurt and over. And if you do it more, you're just gonna have a break. Your body's gonna break down quicker, and two, you're not gonna heal.
and you're going to be
Everything's
more prone to those attacks in the future.
and it'll make you feel miserable. Like why am I worn down? Why am I hurting constantly? Like just
Well,
you got everybody's got to think about themselves. They got to take the
and you're coming from a perspective where you're training at a much higher level at certainly at the moment, but really
I
ever you were training at a higher level than Roger and I, and we were training really hard there.
I
Um,
was.
so yeah, that's a good perspective. That folks should listen to what you say about that, especially if they're training super hard. But anyway, Roger, if you would, any questions for Nick?
Yeah, no, I remember the game plan for a ADCC Open in Vegas was there. We're gonna go up against some wrestling. We're gonna go against some good wrestlers. And the
Mhm.
first match, your opponent, I believe, was a brown belt, immediately sat to his butt, which we were not expecting at all. Like
Right.
nobody sits to the butt in the past whenever you've had an opponent. So have you focused? My question is, have you focused on your leg locks and guard
I
passing?
I I have I've been working on it. Sorry. Um, pretty much every day. Every day we've been going over these leg entanglements. Like I see them all the time. Like if somebody's, sitting to their butt or something, and I see it right there, I go, okay, I need a pass. Look for a pass, get past it. If I land in a position, at least try to create a scramble to get out. But if they have my leg or something, it's going to be kind of tough, because if you land the wrong way on your leg, you're cooked.
Yeah.
And, I actually had a guy that caught my leg today in class, and he caught it, and I tapped right away, because I know, like, I'm not gonna mess with that, because I'm not gonna injure myself. You gotta be smart in those moments, because especially in competition, when you get up there with those high rank brown belts, black belts, there's pretty much every submission that they could pull out of the book.
Yeah, there's constant danger, right?
It's sport driven.
Yeah,
It's sport driven, because they want to win a competition. That's all that they look forward to. Oh, look at me, I won. Oh, great, that's cool.
you know what? And that sport driven, we also define, there's a dual definition there. Sport driven and win driven are pretty dang close. And none of us three, when it comes down to it, are win driven. We all want to win, and we'll roll hard. And Roger especially still has intensity, incredible intensity, unbelievable. But when it comes right down to it, the win-driven, sport-driven situation is not the best strategy, in a real deal situation. You agree with that, Nick?
I do. I'd rather be safe and protect myself at all times, rather than, at first, when you're young, you look at competitions like it means something, and then the older you get, it's just a competition. And then you go back to the gym and just doing your regular thing after that. Like that's all it is. And I actually talked to Mo himself, and I told Mo, I said, look, I mean, I honestly think if you're making the rise at ADCC, like, let's at least like get some disabled guys on the mat. Let's see what they can do. Let's push this further.
I would love to see that.
And that's been with me for years. Like, I'm thinking, like, and I told Roger, like, that's an equal playing field for myself. Like, it's not that I don't mind going against somebody who's a regular able body. It's just, I think I'd rather have an equal playing field, rather than, having a disadvantage a lot, especially now that I'm getting up in the ranks with bigger competition guys.
You know what?
When you hear these names.
Nick, I'm so sorry to cut you off, and that was disrespectful. But I'm sorry about that.
Right.
But I do have a question, and
Yeah.
we Roger have no negative opinion. Just curious, what happened with the when you started training out there, and the gentleman removed your stripes, or what was that?
I did that on my own. I took it upon myself to rededicate myself back to my purple belt, and to really put in more time to understand the purple belt, rather than just trying to get striped up and go on to the next one.
So he never said the first word to you about you needing to remove? Nothing about that?
No, nothing at all. Nothing. Oh, that was my whole thing. The guy that gave me my purple belt, and then started striping me up from the beginning, he wasn't a great guy at all. the guy that gave me my purple belt back in Texas. He's from Round Rock, and he tried to start his own facility, but he would run people off because he wasn't respectful to others. Like he was, he was just kind of like a tyrant.
What did he
I've
do?
heard I've heard issues. I'm sorry that I was just gonna say I've heard these things before. But go ahead, Nick. Explain what you know, because we want people to know who the heck they're training with, who they're getting, and this is just from your perspective and your
I mean, at first, I thought the guy was cool because, well, he said, yeah, if you come train with me, you'll be at a great academy and all that. And I believed him. Like he was like selling me like like a salesman basically. And then the more I got to know him, the more I'm thinking like, yeah, this ain't going well. And then we go off to compete in the Arnold. And then after we got back, he started like bullying me like about money, and I already paid him the money that I owed him, and he
Wow.
just yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There's some issues there, that jujitsu is also a business, and of course that folks make money, they make their living, or extra money, whatever the case is, and of course um, we pay. It's a value, so we pay for it. Um, but the bad vibes, the negativity, anything that is abnormal compared to what we all know as the way that jiu-jitsu guys, the good ones, the way that they are.
mhm.
There's really a super similar vibe amongst legit
Right.
jujitsu guys. And when you get outside of that, man, it's just like it stands out like a boner in a speedo.
I mean, that's fact.
But Roger,
Plus, that goes out to all the women out there. JK, JK.
or
Just kidding.
dudes walking around the locker room oh man,
Hey,
what
I'm proud of my manhood.
evidently.
So,
What questions do you have, Roger?
I just want to know when the next tournament dates are going to be. I think we covered the game plan. I just want to know. You said you were going to sign up for those Florida tournaments at this. What was the name of the organization one more time?
one's in Dallas, the other one's in Orlando, and then of course ADCC in Vegas.
Perfect.
It's all next. Yeah, it's all next year, brother.
Well, good,
It
man.
actually it actually gives me more time to think about it and just put in more time for it.
Yeah, keep working towards that goal, and you'll be ready for the lake lockers at ADCC.
And I just want people at ADCC to know, like, hey, it's the world's toughest competition, but I just want to get this thing up and running. Like, hopefully, I can get some kind of thing where people that have disabilities, I want to get that up and running. See if we can't get that going. That's always been my dream to do that, and I want to see it succeed, especially on a big platform like that, and to have Flow Grappling showcase that.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome.
Because I mean, we've talked about that for years, and we've always had like stiff competition, and I'm just ready to play fair.
Well, regardless
Because I
of whatever whatever tournaments you you enter. I mean, you're just going to keep on looking for matches,
Right.
no matter what the competition
No
is.
matter what, I'm just gonna keep training, man. And I'd like to maybe take the John Donaher challenge. Take on more of his students. Like I took on Luke Griffin. Maybe I could take on one of his another guy of his.
I have a question, Mick. If Gordon Ryan not wanted to roll, not a sport match, but issued the challenge to you that he wanted to fight an MMA match or a no time limit fight, would you take the fight?
I would. Not trying to be arrogant or anything. I mean, I respect that dude, and I took a picture with him. Very, very nice guy. But to challenge myself, absolutely. Even though I know he's stronger and his game is world class, and I know the outcome of that, but doesn't mean I won't try.
There you have it. That's pretty much exactly what I thought you'd say, Nick.
And I think it'd be cool to do an exhibition with Gordon. I mean, that's actually what I wanted to do at ADCC is ask an exhibition with Gordon. Be like, Gordon, would you give me this opportunity to roll with you and to show like everybody like, hey, this little guy's got something up his hands, he may not be the fastest or strongest, but he can move.
This
if you give me that time.
This is what Elio was doing in Brazil 100 years ago, right? Exactly this. You have the exact mindset that he had, and that's what happened with Kimura, is that Elio never expected to win, but he did want to see how it would go, right? He wanted to see
Right.
what it was like and how Kimura would go about defeating him. And that interest, that whatever that is, the interest of finding out what's going to happen outweighs the fear of what is going to happen. And not many people are like that. Most
I mean,
people,
sorry.
I was just going to say, most people, when it boils right down to it, most people will back down from a challenge that is overwhelming like that.
Right. Well, I can say like I just want the people to know out there like, look, I literally almost lost my life last year, and I I can say I conquered death. Like they brought me back. So I don't know if anybody's ever had that happen, but
What happened, Roger? If Roger, if you want to, or Nick, if you want to get into that, or no.
I can explain it. So basically, on November 27th, 2022, it's probably around like 3:30. I was training for like a pro wrestling deal, like a gimmick, and basically the instructor there, he hit me in the head twice with a steel chair, and basically ambulance came, and next thing I know, I woke up in a hospital, and they told me I was DOA. Like they had to resuscitate me and put me in a coma. And I asked my mom what happened, and she told me like the ambulance pronounced you dead, and they had to resuscitate you, put you in a coma, and bring you back to life.
Roger, when when of course we knew about this when it was going on, did you ever think that Nick would not be fine?
I mean, I was really worried about him. I mean, Nick is super tough, but you know, I mean, when you get like a head injury like that, it's always something to worry about. You know.
It was a serious deal. It
Oh yeah.
was even for the buzzard. It was a very intense situation, right?
Oh, it was super
Yeah, for
intense,
my
but
friend.
apparently, like Nick cannot be killed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He's got 9 lives, right?
For sure. Nick, it sounds
Yeah.
like you're catching a cold, brother.
Yeah, kind of got a little cough.
Go get you some. Go get you some NyQuil and get a good night's rest, okay, brother? You
I
don't want
will.
to overdo it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. I'm glad we got to finish it. It's going to be a great
Yeah,
episode.
me too. Me too. Me too. Is it gonna show like my picture and all that on there, like the
Oh yeah.
episode?
Oh yeah. Send me some photos that you want on the episode.
Trying to think like what would be a good one. Like me on the podium at ADCC from this year. What about that one?
There you go.
And
Okay.
and and this one right here. I'm not sure what
Okay.
it is, but Roger, you're going to put something in there that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I can think of one.
If you have
Is it
any,
gonna be a fun? Is it gonna be a funny one?
So funny.
well,
If it is,
the people that are listening to this episode, they just saw it, so um, it's exactly what you can expect from this gentleman. I was going to say one other thing. Man, what was it? What was it? Now I can't even remember. I was going to say, this is what happens. Uh, Nick has a cold. This is what happens when you rub up against people like 100 times a day, and you can expect to get some colds.
I'm pretty
that's
sure you
funny.
showed up at the gym with the flu, though, Joey.
I did. I remember that.
Oh man,
I
that's
wanted
not
to
cool.
see. I wanted. Do you remember, Roger, that I wanted to see what it was like to do and what? And I mean, I don't remember if of course, I believe that I would have told everybody else that I'm sick beforehand. Um, but I wanted to see what would happen if I rolled or got into that kind of situation and felt like absolute crap. So
No,
it
you
was
did
I was
interesting.
well,
gonna
but we
say,
all got sick.
Yeah, what do you think everybody's doing at Wolfpack these days, anyways?
Rolling,
Man,
rolling, training.
Rolling training.
yeah. I mean, respect to those guys, Jerry, all of those guys. Respect to them.
Mhm.
But Nick, I appreciate you coming on here. Roger appreciates you coming on here and talking to us again. Anything else, Roger?
No, that's it, man. Let's keep training, get ready for those tournaments, brother.
Yep, I say yeah, gotta be at the best starting next year, I think.
The last thing, and then we'll start the music here when we edit this and put it together. The last thing is, this is what Nick is doing. Nick's going after it. Nick is going at it. And are you living up to this standard? So if not, you better get to work, because Nick is on your freaking tail and he's gonna catch up to you. And that's it.
I like it.
All right, brother. All right, we'll holler at you later, okay?
Okay, brother.
All right.
All right.
Feel better.
You guys have a good one. I sure will.
See you, Nick.
All right. See y'all.
All right, just us, man.
Man. Okay, so that was definitely Nick. When you listen to this, you redeemed yourself. you redeemed yourself. So although there was some still circus vibes, much less.
Dude, it was fun, man. Nick's a lot of fun. Like hanging out with Nick, like when Nick was in San Antonio, just had a blast. He's like the perfect jiu-jitsu buddy to have.
I agree 100% with that. Aggravating as heck, but isn't I mean, everybody that's listening to this, if you're locked in a room with your best friends for eternity, I believe John Paul Sartre said that hell is being locked in a room with your friends forever. So, you know, good friends aggravate each other, but if you're on the outside of this circle, you better watch yourself.
You know what? I think I could be locked in the same room with you guys because I figure we would find ways to pass the time. We would probably get really good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, eventually we'd all go crazy if it was indefinite time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we have an extra, like we have a well, I guess if it's us three, we have a fourth person. We have an object that 99% of the world wouldn't have, that we would be able to utilize 24 hours a day. So I agree. For us specifically, with the technique, we would be able to enjoy the time forever. But if you don't have jiu-jitsu in your life, why are you listening to this podcast? First of all, you need to get into jiu-jitsu now. And if for whatever reason you don't have jiu-jitsu, man, you're missing out so much. You see, this trio here is 100% the cause of Elio Gracie, Carlos Gracie, the proliferation of jiu-jitsu, and the 100% intention to pass it on the correct way. And this is what happens when you do. So there it is.
Perfect. Another one in the books.
Cool, man. We'll if you I don't know if you can how it will work, but at way back, like maybe 5 minutes ago, I said we'll add the music right here. Maybe you can start it and then stop it, or something weird.
I think it'll be fine. I mean, I'll make it work. It's funny. Just a little background of the editing. So I have to like these are like an hour long. So whenever I go in and edit it, I listen to the whole thing over, and if I find something that we need to cut, like I cut it. But it's like it takes like a couple hours to edit these things, especially if you're gonna add like pictures and I think in the future we're gonna add like video and things like that. But I'd love to get that match in there too. While
Oh
you're
yeah,
describing the match and the match is in there, that's gonna be fun.
especially whenever I was talking about that backbone rotation, defensive. Man, I'm not sure what this is. One specific technique that I'm not sure what the sport jiu-jitsu community or the schools, what they call that thing. It's a defensive technique. If you can add, I'll cut the I'll send you a timestamp of Hiro and Gracie doing this technique against Andre Galvão, and then you can see Nick doing the same thing, maybe like 5 times against this gigantic individual. And it's just interesting that you can see that Hiron is like phenomenal, like perfect, and Nick uses the technique the exact same way. So that'd be something cool to look at, to add in there.
I was thinking about how Nick would fare against Gordon, and I think he could outlast other guys.
I mean, if you think about it, you and I both would probably, if he was 100% intent on crushing us, then we would fare kind of similar to any other, average kind of jujitsu guy. He would probably crush us in like a minute or 30 seconds. Maybe we would last a minute. You and I are both experienced. So, but Nick would kind of fare similarly. He would get crushed as well. I believe. I agree. But we all would. And he would last a similar time to us.
Which is saying something, because I believe at the ADCC he got a guy in 30 seconds.
It would be great if we could show, put that in there, but I'm not sure a video exists of that.
Yeah, if we could last 31 seconds, I mean, I would say that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I agree. But maybe we'll get the chance one day. You never know. But anyway,
All right, man.
Yeah, we'll cut it here and we'll get into it next time.
All right, sounds good. I'll send it over to you.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right, brother. Later.
Have a good night. See ya.
You too. Bye.